WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We're positively into the summertime, and by the time you hear my dulcet tones, I will be in the throes of the Crab Cake Tour. The Maryland Crab Cake Tour is presented by the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Goodwill, Window Nation, and the Restaurant Association of Maryland. Reminding you, Restaurant Week coming up September. I'll be reminding you all of August, making you really, really hungry and probably thirsty as I hit 31 breweries and 31 crab cakes all over the state. You know, this time last year, I had this guy on, and he's been all over the state because there are Weis Markets all over the state, and I found that out when I drove all over the state, from Frostburg to Easton to Southern Maryland. There were two Weis Markets down near Solomon's that I thought, that's kind of strange. They're about a mile apart. Dennis Curtin is here. He runs all things Weis Markets and public relations, but sort of like worldview. And I'm coming to your ice cream factory in a couple of weeks, Dennis. And I'm hoping that they're going to let you out of the office to sample some of the products that you sell.
They only do that once or twice a year because the ice cream is so good. I mean, number one, Weis quality ice cream is the best ice cream we sell. And we sell lots of great ice cream, but we're a little, partial to our ice cream. But when ice cream comes off the line, it is sort of like a Dairy Queen custard consistency. And then it is sent into the hardening room, which is
freezing room,
23 below zero.
I'm not going in there.
Well, we show people that, and you look in for 10 seconds and you go, boy, that's really cold. I'm going to close this door.
You guys, I was supposed to come up a couple weeks ago, and
yes.
The day I was going to come up, we had a little snafu, and it's cool, and I'm going. Right. I'm in the middle of the tour. But that morning, I literally threw a text to Jamie and said, it was 100 degrees. And I'm like,
yeah.
Should I bring a sweater and some jeans? Because I'm thinking, like, it's an ice cream factory. It's not. I covered ice hockey in the 80s.
Right.
And they break training camp in September. You can see the steam coming off the ice. But you never, ever, ever covered a hockey practice pretending it wasn't February. My kids, my friend's kid played hockey all of his. It's like, it's cold. And I thought it must just be cold in the ice cream factory. So I was going to dress for it.
Yeah. And we have a big distribution center about 12 miles up the road from where I'm sitting. And a lot of it is dry grocery, but all of a sudden you turn the corner and you go into one section and you're in the produce section, and that's 40 degrees. And then you go into the frozen section and that's 10 below zero. By the time you get out of there and the warmth of the dry grocery section embraces you, you are so grateful.
40 feels like 140, right?
Yeah.
Dennis Curtin is here. He is from Weis Markets. We've talked about all things. Let's talk a little bit of Weis for 1 second, because we want to talk about rewards, and we'll talk produce and summer and grilling. And man, last time I got together with you, I hadn't grilled anything yet. We've been grilling the last 2 months because I lived here. I lived downtown for 19 years. Didn't have a grill. But rewards and where we are, I tend to use them the last couple of years with y'all. Now that I sign up and I'm spokesperson for you, I use them at Christmas on the ham, right? But I hadn't even really looked at it. I know I did a segment around Easter and maybe about Easter hams or things like that.
Hams,
I hadn't looked to see how many rewards points I have. And I'm looking right now just to get my, I have 489 rewards points. I'm going to make the ham by Christmas as long as I don't spend my rewards, right?
Well, no. You want to use them now because we cycle them out probably every 2 months. But here's
what you teach me this.
Here's what you want to do. You want to go to a Sunoco or one of the Weis Markets where we have a gas and go.
That would be Bel Air Road, just outside the Beltway. Yes.
Yeah. Scan your card, or Sunoco's, because we have a collab with Sunoco. Scan your club card, and then for every $100 you get a 10-cent a gallon discount. And would it surprise you if I told you that this year we're seeing a strong growth in people redeeming their reward points for gas?
I would think so. When gas is $5 a gallon, for sure.
And people listening or watching might say, "Oh boy, do they really want that?" People earn their reward points. We want them to use them. That's part of the Weis Markets value proposition. We try to give good prices. We have hot specials. Coming up in Labor Day, I mean, you'll have some great specials in terms of grilling, steaks, ribs. But again, you get reward points and you can use them to get discounts on gas. And then come October, you will start earning reward points. And by the time Thanksgiving rolls around, one of two things will happen. You will qualify for a free Wise quality turkey, or if you don't have that many points, you'll get great discounts on all sorts of turkeys and hams as well. Butterballs, Empire kosher turkeys. So, I mean, if you have a Wise Rewards card, I mean, you get to save additional monies.
But it's not even a card anymore. It's right here. I was gonna say, like,
Oh, yeah.
I found the other day, I was going through all my business cards. I'm doing some business this summer because of the crab cake tour and stuff. And I found all of my old like credit cards, and I found my Blockbuster card. You know, the things that used to sit in your
Yes.
wallet, make your wallet this fat, throw your back off if you put it in your back pocket. Um, the cards were a mess. You said rewards card and all. Since this thing happened, and I wasn't the first adopter to all this. My wife was, right?
Right.
My wife was the first one Apple paying and dinging and swiping
Sure.
and sitting this down. That if you set your phone up right, if you just take a Saturday morning and take an hour or two, punch all your codes in, get everything together, almost all of your life. But think about what you spend. Everybody's got Marriott rewards, and you travel twice a year. You got an airline and you fly a couple times a year and they help you out or whatever. Groceries and gasoline, you're doing that every day. You're doing it everywhere you go. If you're not getting rewards from that, you're really kind of getting banged. You know what I mean? Like you
You're
really
right.
you could be not just a free ham, that's nice, but just it'll pay for the phone. I mean, literally, it'll pay for having the phone.
If you like all the survey info we see is that people go to their supermarket 2 to 3 times a week.
I do.
And
I
and
do.
and and often more. I mean, other people might go once a week, others go 5. But you're right. You can earn those reward points, and then you can put them to good use. 50 years ago, supermarkets made way too many decisions for customers. It was one size fits all. Today, we're in the business of giving people choices. You want a quick meal, you can get a quick meal. You want a weekly order so you can plan out your meals for the week. We're there for you. We are trying to give our customers more choices. And if you give them choices, if you give them value and decent service and quality, you're going to do well. You're going to be able to, you know, sell more products to your customers, and also they come away thinking, I got a good value.
You know when I knew Wise was committed to quality was when I was in the freezer aisle about 2 weeks ago, and we're looking at
Okay.
ice creams. We were out of ice cream. Okay,
Okay.
so I finally ran out of my vanilla bean, and I'm making choices. And my wife said, "Oh, look, there's Moose Tracks," and I'm like, "That sounds good." She's like, "Extreme Moose Tracks," and I'm like, "Man, they made
Yeah.
Moose Tracks even better." I don't know what's going to be on the line when I'm up there for ice cream day, but I'm hoping something's extreme that's going on. Dennis Curtin's here. He's from Wise. We're talking about rewards and we're talking about ice cream. I'm be touring the ice cream factory. If you're following along, 26th of the month, later on in the month, I'll have some social media up. We'll have some fun. But for folks that do shop and go out right now, I would say produce, produce, and produce. Somebody had a picture of this beautiful heirloom tomato on my timeline this morning. My wife has been getting corn, fresh
Right.
peaches. I had a peach yesterday morning. It was the best peach of the summer. Got it at Wise. And this is that time of the year, as we would say, the farmer's market time of the year, July, August, best produce, best watermelon, gold watermelon, best everything right now.
For in most of Maryland and here in our home state of Pennsylvania, local produce starts anywhere from the middle of June to the week after 4th of July. And in a given year, we're going to buy 27, 28 million pounds of locally grown produce. Those are farmers, mostly in Pennsylvania and Maryland, a handful in New Jersey and New York. I think we have one from Delaware now. So these farmers are in the markets, and they're often quite close to our stores. Now, a
Getting a
lot of
cucumber came from down the street. Getting a tomato came from around the corner, right?
Now,
Literally.
I will tell you, full disclosure, a lot of these farmers will ship to our distribution center. And the reason they do that is they go to one location. And also, we have killer inspectors out there who are really good at making sure that customers get the quality that they're paying for. And it's a really good system. I mean, the day we opened in 1912, we were buying from local farmers, and it hasn't changed. Insider hack, we sell Athena cantaloupes that are grown maybe 20 miles away from where I sit. They're probably the best cantaloupes we sell year round. They're just amazing.
All right, after we go to the ice cream, you take me over to the farm. We'll do
You know,
that.
I'll see if it's grown by a guy named Titus Hoover. They call him Junior because his father used to sell us, and they have probably been working with us for more than 70 years. Those are the kind of relationships that we have established with local growers. And the ice cream that you eat, the cream comes from our dairy plant, which is right next to our ice cream plant. And all of that milk comes from local farms in Pennsylvania. I mean, I know that's not Maryland, but I mean, it's still locally.
I got listeners in Pennsylvania. Don't act like
Yeah,
it's all that far. You know, we
I
hear
know.
what Fetterman and Dr. Oz are up. It comes across the border. We know what's happening here. I even know what the Eagles are doing.
Yeah, no, it's years ago, somebody thought it was a good idea to send me out on the road to these local farms to take pictures. And I'm lucky I don't get a thumb in every picture I take. I mean, just, I mean, I got some decent photos, but I had to take like 40 each time. And one of the farms I still remember, and I saw him maybe a year ago. He was at our Brunswick, Maryland store. There's a guy named Paige Hauser, and he's in Sharpsburg, Maryland, Antietam, and he grows everything under the sun: corn, tomatoes, peppers. And he has been supplying us. There might have been one year where he didn't, but he's been supplying us for like 30 years. I mean, those are the kinds of relationships that we have that generate the local produce that we're selling right now. And another thing that kind of surprised me, we will, in terms of tonnage for local produce, we will sell more between Labor Day and Thanksgiving. And when I explain it, you'll go, "Oh, okay."
Potatoes way more.
Pumpkins weigh even more.
I had potatoes. See, you had me going there for a minute.
And Titus grows, like, he switches from cantaloupes to pumpkins.
Did you
in the
just say
fall.
pumpkin in July? That's not allowed. They don't allow that. You're not
No,
allowed to say pumpkin till August, are you?
no, but he's growing them. Like, literally, when I was on his field a couple years ago, cantaloupes were coming in season. They were being processed, and in the other field, you can see these little tiny pumpkins growing, and like they're not going to be ready until September.
Be a jack-o'-lantern by October, and there'll be
Oh
a
yeah.
latte in November. Dennis Curtin is here. Maybe, I did say this to Jamie when we moved it from July to August. I'm like, maybe I'll get a pumpkin on the line. Maybe it'll be the pumpkin day or the eggnog, because we're getting into that now. You have to make that stuff to get it out in September and October. Dennis is here from Weis Markets. I drink out of the Wise cup around here. We call them Wise Conversations when they are wise. They're not always wise, because sometimes I'm involved in them. I'm doing the ice cream tour a little later on in the month up in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, even north of Hershey. It's up above Harrisburg.
Yeah,
We're
it's
going to
about 50
Shamokin
miles.
Dam. I'm getting barbecue. I'm seeing cantaloupe. It's going to be a big time here on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour later on in the month. But for you guys, we talk about produce and that, but the grilling season is here, and that's where I began with all of this. And I always give a shout out to this, the garlic pepper rub that you guys sell on chicken. And sometimes it's a breast, sometimes it's thigh, sometimes it's legs. I've done it. Sometimes it's boneless breast. I had those last week on some nachos. I think it's the best rub in the world, but it's an acquired taste. You got to have a garlic pepper flavor or palate, but it's one of my favorite things you sell. I never don't look for it. And when we get it, we always have one or two in the freezer, because it does sort of go out of season. There's a couple of months where they go with different rubs and I
Yeah.
can't find it. So when I get it, I sort of like load. It's like gold watermelon. I load up on it when I get it.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, things are seasonal. And when Labor Day comes along, all of a sudden the way people eat and
They
have
want pumpkin.
meals, it changes. Yeah. In addition to that, all of a sudden dinner becomes more of a thing. In summer, everything's on the go or a cookout, but now dinner's a planned event. I mean, it's breakfast, get the kids out, and so on and so forth. And in the changed marketplaces, there are a lot more people working remote. So, I mean, they look to supermarkets rather than going out to lunch. So, I mean, it's a constantly evolving, interesting business. And that's one of the exciting parts of working for a supermarket company.
We were hot as heck about 3 weeks ago. It was 100 degrees. And my wife works in the sunny side of where we live, and I
Okay.
work on the so we get into this 20-degree difference, and she saw a fan it was we were checking out. You guys have so much stuff. We
Yeah.
we bought citronella plants at the location at Joppa in Hartford because we saw them, and I hate mosquitoes, and we have a little porch. So she bought this. It really is amazing how many different things you guys have. I actually saw overly high school stuff in the store the other day
Yes.
too. I mean, it's not a cookie cutter store, and stores are
No,
all
it's not.
different. And like my Towson location has my special coconut water that I love, but
Right.
my other store has pastries that I love.
Right. I mean, and what we try to do is we try to tailor, what we have in our stores. We call it an assortment, for lack of a better word. We try to tailor it to our communities. If there's demand, it's just, it's one of the things. Again, we're trying to give people choices. We have enough flexibility so that we can have what people want, and that makes it fun. It makes it fun for us. It makes it fun for the customer.
I put this up the other day because I walked in, and I hope I can find it on my Facebook. And if I do, I'll share it. Here it is right here. I put this up on Facebook. I'm gonna share it with the whole place. Dennis, I don't think we're Facebook friends, but you would have seen it. I walked into the Wise the other day, and I thought, well, what season is it? 4th of July's over. It's not quite pumpkin yet. And it turns out that at the Wise Market on Bel Air Road, it's Shark Week. So they've taken Shark Week to a totally different level with pastries and cakes and cupcakes. Even Shark Week can be a holiday at Wise Markets, Dennis, right? If you're creative enough.
And displays, I mean, it gets people's attention, and perhaps they buy more of the product, but you see that creativity. I mean, a good
It looked
example,
like a prom.
Super Bowl, NCAA finals. I mean, there's so many different things. Yeah, like harvest with pumpkins coming up. There'll be a lot of harvest kind of displays. It's just,
I grabbed something the other day that I want to promote here just real quick locally because I got it out. I grabbed this in the store. Crab Wagon
yes.
is here. I just want to make sure that I'm giving everybody dates to make sure so the Crab Wagon. Do you want to talk about the Crab
No,
Wagon?
you can talk about it
Because I've done it before. I did it
yes,
last
you
year on
have.
Bel Air Road. They bring the Crab Wagon in, and while you're shopping, you'll smell the crabs being served outside, and you can buy them right out on the street. On the 6th, that's coming up this weekend, they're going to be at what I would call my store, the Bel Air Road store.
Sure.
On the 7th, Dundalk Wise Avenue, that's the Patapsco side of Dundalk. You and I have talked about that. That is not my side of Dundalk. That's the Patapsco side. That's on the 7th. The 14th, Security Boulevard. We're going to call that Dennis Colazzo's store because that's what we call it around here. And then the 27th, Middle River. And I was in Middle River the other day. That's the 27th on Saturday. The Crab Wagon comes in. If you're shopping in those locations in Wise, make sure you stop by, get yourself a dozen. They sent me home with a dozen last year, and they were spicy and tasty. Dennis, you a crab eater? I mean, up in Pennsylvania,
I like
not everybody
crab
does it,
cakes. I've just sort of crab cocktails, but like, sort of taking a mallet and getting crab. I've done it.
I can tell you're not from around here. Just by
I'm
the
not
way
very
your
good
nose
at it. I'm
turns
sorry.
up and,
Guilty as charged.
well, why don't you come down and teach you how to do it? I mean, that's part of the thing. Once you get better at it, you enjoy it more. You like crab. You just
Oh
told me
yeah,
you crab
absolutely.
cakes.
I like shellfish.
You can't touch those things. My hands will get dirty.
No, I'm not saying that.
It's a tourist thing. That's what makes Baltimore dirty and gritty and what makes us beautiful.
I like Charm City. I go there a couple times a year. It's a great town.
I'm taking you out for crabs. Dennis Curtin
Okay.
is here. He's taking us for crabs at the Crab Wagon and taking me for ice cream later on the month. We'll get up to Sunbury and do it up right. I appreciate the hospitality and the wise conversations as always. And you have any travelogue for me? Any place? What's your favorite place in Maryland? Because I know you've hit every back road. You talked to Antietam and Sharpsburg. I did that last year. Is there something I'm missing that I need to know about? Because you're usually pretty good.
A couple of things. Number one, I really liked Brunswick, Maryland. And Brunswick, Maryland is kind of a contrast. On the outside, it's the outskirts. There are lots of new developments, really nice big houses. But in town, it's neighborhoody. Like all the houses are next to each other. It's not like everybody has driveways, but you can sense a real feel of community. And when we opened the store there a couple of years ago, I went down to scout out the location for our ribbon cutting. And after I was done, I went into a local brewery to get a sandwich and a beer. And they only sold beer, but you get your sandwich from the pizza joint next door. And I was talking to the guy, the bartender. It turns out he was the owner. And he took me upstairs, and it was an old firehouse. And he showed me this hall that he was turning into a banquet center, and he wanted to do weddings and parties there. And he said, Patsy Cline used to sing here. And I'm
Nice.
thinking, man, the white voice of God, that is so cool. And when you go in that part of the country, whether it's West Virginia or Maryland, I mean, the history is just in its bones. Whether it's all the way back to the Civil War or like the early 60s when Patsy Cline was, at the top of the charts. So that it's a quirky area. It's an interesting area. It's sort of new and old. And I like that combination.
Well, I'd be crazy to not go down there and check that out now, wouldn't I? So
Yeah,
we'll get down to
check out
Brunswick.
that brewery. I'm pretty sure it's still there. It's like an old firehouse, and in the summer, the garage doors are open.
When you go back and listen to this, you're going to hear my crazy reference there and realize that I threw that in for you.
Yeah, I
What
know,
Patsy
I
Cline
know.
says. Brunswick, Christina joins us from Brunswick all the time, talking dietitian and good things and healthy things to eat, and has taught me a few things along the line too. So we're going to stop by and see her in Brunswick. We're going to be out in Frederick to start the tour, actually on the weekend of the 6th, 7th, 8th, and then out to Deep Creek, Rocky Gap, coming back through Cumberland, coming back through Hagerstown and Nick's Airport. In we have released all 31 crab cakes. 30 of the breweries. Still got one brewery I got to work out. All of it is up at Baltimore Positive as we get on. We'll take our wise conversations out on the road. Dennis, great to visit with you, man. And
Yes,
thanks for
great.
reminding me to use my points so I don't, because I'll burn them if I don't use them, right?
Yeah, use them or lose them. I mean, that essentially, I've been a little too candid on that one. But what you want to do is, if you have those points, go redeem them for gas discounts. The price of gas is coming down, but with those discounts, you can get an even better deal.
Same as cash, as they say. Weis Markets sponsors us. We call them Wise Conversations all along the line. We're taking the Maryland Crab Cake Tour out on the road, including the Weis Ice Cream Factory Tour in the middle of the Crab Cake Tour. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. I'll be giving out some scratch-offs, some lucky scratch-offs. Hopefully, we'll get some winners out about everywhere from Cumberland to Cambridge and from Oakland to Ocean City. We're going to stop everywhere in between and have a good time. It's all brought to you by our friends at Goodwill, Window Nation, and the Restaurant Association of Maryland, making sure you're reminded that Restaurant Week's coming up in September. We'll be eating well. I'll need to lose some weight by the time the Ravens get to the Jets on September 11th. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking. Baltimore, positive.